Listen, come and hear this story today, because this one will teach every man a lesson he will never forget. In a small but lively town called Ijedu, there lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel was the kind of man every mother warned her daughter about, not because he was wicked. No, Daniel was not wicked. Daniel was simply spoiled. Spoiled by luck, spoiled by comfort, and most of all, spoiled by a woman named Amara. Amara was Daniel's girlfriend of 4 years. And let me tell you, this woman was not just a girlfriend. She was a whole management team. She cooked, she cleaned, she prayed for him at 5 in the morning. She remembered his mother's birthday better than Daniel remembered his own. If patience was a university course, Amara would graduate with first class, second, third, and even come back for a master's degree. Every one of Daniel's friends admired her. His best friend Tobena used to say, "Daniel, this you Amara, if you no marry am, God go slap you himself, no human being go do am."
But Daniel had developed a very dangerous sickness. The sickness of taking a good thing for granted. It started small. Amara would cook a full pot of stew, and Daniel would just say, "It's okay," like she served him sand. She would iron his clothes for an interview, and he would complain that the shirt still had one small crease somewhere only his eyes could locate. And when she was sick, genuinely sick with malaria that had her sweating like she just ran from a village masquerade, Daniel had the nerve to call her and ask, "So, who will cook today now?" Women of Ijedu, hold your chest. But Amara, being the understanding type, always found a way to excuse him. "He's just stressed from work," she would tell her friend Chidema. "Men don't know how to express appreciation, that's all." Chidema, who was blunt like a butter knife, would just hiss and say, "Amara, some men don't know how to express appreciation because nobody has ever removed the appreciation and shown them what suffering looks like." Now, one Saturday morning, Daniel woke up and, as usual, expected breakfast to appear like magic. He shouted, Amara, is the food ready?" No answer. He shouted again, louder, like he was calling a goat that had wandered off. Still no answer. He walked into the kitchen. Nothing. No pot on fire, no smell of fried plantain, nothing. Just silence and one sticky note on the fridge. The note read, "Good morning. I've gone to stay with my sister for a while. I need to remember who I am outside of taking care of you. Don't worry, I left rice in the freezer for you to learn how to defrost it yourself." Daniel laughed. He actually laughed. He said, "This one will come back before evening. Where will she go? Na small vex be that." My people, Daniel did not know that this was not small vex. This was graduation day. By evening, Daniel was hungry. Real hunger. The type that makes a grown man remember his mother's cooking from 20 years ago. He tried to defrost the rice. He put the whole frozen block, container and all, inside the microwave. The container melted. Smoke filled the kitchen. Daniel ran outside like NEPA had finally caught him doing something wrong. His neighbor, Mama Ngozi, rushed out with a bucket of water, ready for war. When she saw it was just rice, she looked at Daniel from head to toe and said, "So this is how una dey suffer when una woman travel? God punish laziness." Daniel, embarrassed, went back inside to sulk. He called Amara. She didn't pick up. He called again. Again, silence. On the third call, she finally answered, and in the calmest voice you have ever heard, she said, "Daniel, I'm fine. I'm resting. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk." And she hung up. hung up on Daniel, the same Daniel that ladies used to queue for in university. Days passed. Daniel tried to survive alone, and let me tell you, it was comedy from heaven. He wore his shirt inside out to a business meeting and didn't realize until his boss quietly slid him a note. He tried to wash his clothes and turned his white singlet a beautiful shade of pink because he mixed them with his red football jersey. He ate garri with cold water for 3 days straight because cooking is stress.
His friend Tobena visited and met him looking like a man who had returned from war. Hair uncombed, house smelling of expired takeout, one slipper missing. Tobena just stood at the door and said, Daniel, na Mara help you finish. I no say na she dey run this whole your life. Daniel, humbled small, said, abeg, no laugh. Help me call her now. Tobena refused. No, my brother, this one is not my matter. You dug this hole with your own spoon, you go climb out with your own hand. By the second week, something shifted in Daniel. Hunger had taught him what appreciation could not. He started remembering small things, how Amara used to hum while cooking, how she always kept malaria tablets in her bag just in case, how she never once complained when his mother visited unannounced for a whole week. How, even after a stressful day at her own job, she still asked him, "Have you eaten?" before she even sat down. Daniel realized something painful. Amara was not his maid. Amara was not his personal weather app that just existed to predict his moods and adjust around them. Amara was a whole human being who chose every single day to love him well, and he had been signing for the package without even opening it to appreciate what was inside. So Daniel did something he had never done in 4 years. He sat down and wrote a letter. Not a text, not a voice note, an actual letter with his own hand, ink smudging because his palm was sweating like a man writing an exam he did not prepare for. In the letter, he did not just say sorry. He listed things, 15 things Amara had done for him that he never once said thank you for. From the malaria tablets, to the iron shirts, to the time she skipped her own cousin's wedding to nurse him after a car accident. He ended the letter with one sentence that made even Chidima, who delivered it, shed one tear. "I did not lose a girlfriend. I lost the only person who saw the best version of me and kept showing it to me even when I refused to be it." Amara read the letter 3 times. Then she called Daniel. Not to forgive him immediately, no, my people. Amara was understanding, not foolish. She called to say, "Let's talk properly, not because you are hungry, but because you say you've changed." They met, they talked, real talk, the kind with tears, with old wounds, with truth that stings before it heals. Daniel apologized, not with flowers this time, but with actions. He started cooking, badly at first, but he started. He began asking her about her day before talking about his own. He defended her in front of his family when his mother made one of her usual comments. Small things, consistent things. It took months, not days, for Amara to fully return. And when she did, the whole town of Ijebude could see the difference. Daniel had become a man who understood that love is not a service you demand. It is a gift you must also give back. At their wedding, 2 years later, Daniel stood in front of everybody and said something that made even the pastor nod slowly. "I used to think an understanding woman meant a woman who understands she has to endure everything. I now know an understanding woman is one who understands her worth, enough to walk away and teach a foolish man how to see her clearly." I'm glad you made it till the end of the story. Bye!